So what you're telling me is, you're heating up a pot of oil, but you're not going to fry anything or make any food. You're going to make soap?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's 100% organic extra virgin olive oil. And we use it to make all sorts of soap, not just body soap or hand soap. We also make hair soap, pet soap, shaving cream, delicate wash, which is used for delicate materials or washing clothes, as well as an all-purpose housework soap.
Why do you use the olive oil? Now, I know there's one thing good about olive oil. I mean, it's an antioxidant.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I. But I hear it helps with aging. Something to do with helps with aging. It helps your skin or whatever. Obviously, I don't use it, but olive oil is good for you. That's all I know.
Yeah, it is, especially this quality of olive oil. It's there are a lot of people who only eat extra virgin olive oil. And to the best of my knowledge, there aren't very many people who use such good quality oil in making soap.
Why are you heating it up?
We heat it up so it's just about the same temperature as the lye that we use in making the soap. But that's totally personal preference. It's not, lots of people do it without heating it up.
Well, how does lye come into the process?
So lye is the alkali that we use. There are many different types of alkali. You can use seaweed, you can use banana peels, lots more things that I can't remember.
So you make this soap, and what got you into making soap?
It was about 8 years ago. I must have been 9 or 10. And I told my mom that I wanted to go to circus camp.
Circus camp? So
Yep.
you're gonna be a clown?
Yeah, I could have been that.
Clowning around, I do that at home. I didn't have to go to any camp. But anyway, go ahead. So you're gonna go to circus camp, but it costs money, obviously.
It does. So my mom told me that if I wanted to go, we'd have to fundraise for it. So she said that I would have to come up with an idea of a product that we could sell in order to fundraise for my circus camp activities.
So you told her, well, let's do soap. It came to mind, let's do soap.
Yeah,
That was your idea.
It was my idea, but there were a lot of other bad ideas that came first. I don't remember any of them. So we did a bunch of research and we decided that soap was the best way to go, and also we'd never done anything like that before, so it seemed like it'd be fun. So we did more research to come up with a recipe that we could use because we'd never done that before. And so we just found a simple recipe that we could use, but after it's been 8 years now, so we've switched recipes and done more research to kind of not be rookies at soap makers anymore.
And how was the recipe, the one you started with?
I'm not sure how the recipe that we started with was, but the one that we use now is a 16th century recipe from the Mediterranean region.
Wow.
So Spain, France, and Italy.
And your name is?
Babette.
Babette. And that's French, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, what's your last name?
It's Cohen Solal.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say. Okay, well, Babette's good. I'm good with Babette. So that's French. So that's really cool. You're making a soap, and it's kind of like going back to your heritage. Long time ago. Okay, well, let's talk about the soap.
So one thing to understand about making soap is that there are two very important components. The first one is the oil base. It can be anything. Some people use olive oil, some people use lard. There's also palm and coconut oil, which are very popular nowadays. But so the oil base is very important, key in fact. And the other one is the alkali. And the alkali is what causes the oil to turn into soap, and that chemical process is called saponification. The process of mixing the alkali with the oil base.
Okay, so what kind of alkali do you use?
So there are lots of different alkalis out there. Lye is the one that we use, and unfortunately lye is a bit abrasive to the skin, and it can be abrasive as well if you breathe it in. So you have to be pretty careful about how you use it. When we handle it, we always wear gloves and glasses. We also try to breathe as minimally as possible.
Well, sounds safe. So how do you prepare the lye?
What we do is we have to measure it out very exactly. We have to measure out everything exactly when we make soap. So we measure out the lye, and then we have to measure out water. We dissolve the lye in the water, and then we mix the water and lye solution with the oil, and that just helps them along in their process, the saponification.
So you're gonna mix lye and water.
We mix the lye and the water together, but you have to make sure that you always put the lye into the water and not the opposite way around.
So you mix the lye into the water and you get fumes, it heats up, and you're heating up the oil. You're gonna put them together. I'm assuming you're trying to make the oil the same temperature for whatever reason.
Right, because that way they can mix together more easily.
I see. So okay, so you do that, and then what's the next step?
You pour the lye and water solution into the bucket of oil, and then we use an immersion blender where it just has a blade at the end, and you can just put it into the oil and mix it around while spinning the blade, and that just helps it go a bit quicker. And we do that until we can see a trace in the soap.
What's a trace?
A trace is when you can slide the immersion blender through the soap batter. My mom likes to call it dough.
Well, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. And it won't immediately go back to being a flat surface.
I see, I see.
So after that, we have to add in the scent and the color, if there is any color or scent to add.
Okay, so you make all these different types of soap. So let's just go with the bar soap. Okay, let's just use that as an example. What would you do the next step to make bar soap after you have your little batter all ready to go?
So when the batter or the dough is ready, we put it in a mold and we just set it up. We have to be careful about how much we put in the mold, otherwise they won't be able to fit into the packaging afterwards. And then we just let them sit for a week so that they can get hard enough for us to cut through them and make the individual bars of soap.
And how do you make the bars of soap?
So when we take the soap out of the mold, we now call it a loaf. It's no longer batter or dough. And the loaf is perfectly sized to be placed in a soap cutting mechanism. It's a hand powered. And each loaf produces 11 bars of soap.
Wow. Now how long does it take them to fully dry?
So we leave them in the molds for a week, but after that we have to dry them on racks for...
And that's after you cut them?
After we cut them. For a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks to allow the lye to evaporate, because you'll remember that I mentioned the lye is very abrasive to your skin, so we don't want to be selling anything that people are going to be using on their bodies that has something that's so abrasive.
So what you're saying is you're using the alkali, in this case you're using lye, to mix with the oil that you've chosen, the olive oil, and that creates the chemical reaction to make the soap.
Saponification.
Yeah, what she said. And then at the end, when it's all said and done, you have the soap, but that lye is gone. It evaporates out of it.
Right. So a lot of people will come back to me and ask why we don't add the lye into our ingredients, because a lot of soap makers do. And I will explain to them that lye is actually just a tool that we use in soap making. It's like asking a baker why he doesn't add an oven to his ingredients when he's baked a cake. It's just a tool, and by the time that the soap we make is on the table and ready to be sold, the lye is completely gone.
So there's no lye?
There's no lye.
You're lying to me. No lye.
No lye.
No lye. Well, I'll tell you what's no lie. My stomach is not growling. That is a lie. No lie, it is a growling. So anyway, I'm hungry. Did you hear it growling?
I did.
It's embarrassing. So anyway, I gotta go home and get something to eat. And thank you again for finding this for me. And it's great meeting you, Babette. Keep it up with the soap, and next time I see you, perhaps I'll even get a bar and I'll try it.
Yeah.
But first I have to get into using soap. That's what people tell me anyway. I don't know.